Hello all, I am Nimish and I am working in an MNC. Apart from this, I have an offer from several MNCs and edtech companies. In this video, we'll be talking about resume. It is a very important thing when we talk about job interviews and getting placed into your dream company. Resumes are the key to the interview. Like if you have good resume, if you have a proper planned and structured resume, you'll be getting into the interview and all. So getting into the video, on the screen you can see my resume, and here's the basic structure of the resume which you need to take care of, because resume reflects yourself before you meet the interviewer. So it is basically a perceptions of yours. So now let's get into the resume building thing and let's see a proper structure of a resume. Before getting into it, I would like to tell you all that I don't think like my resume is the perfect and I have made the perfect resume, but still I have taken this resume, or I should say this resume have taken me to several MNCs, and as a result of which I am a part of an MNC right now. So this resume helped me to get into several companies. So let's have a look into it. A basic resume is a structure which basically consists of your details such as your academic details, your skills, your proficiencies and your technical skills, achievements. So firstly, like when you try to structure your resume, take care that you mention everything in your resume but in a precise form. Resume should not exceed more than 1 or 2 pages, because a big resume, since you are a fresher and you are just a fresher out of your college, you don't have much experience, what you can write in your resumes are the things which I'll be showing you in. So when you start your resume, the first thing you should keep in mind is a formal picture of yours, followed by your name, and then a several lines about yourself which define you in brief. Like as I have written engineer, entrepreneur, photographer, cinematographer, and blogger. These are the things which reflects my personality. So these are some keywords of Nimish. So here, followed by these, then comes your contact details and your email. I would like to tell you one thing, like when you are planning to write a resume, make sure you write your email, your contact number and your LinkedIn profile, because your resume gets to the interviewer before you get in, and there are chances like an interviewer might be searching you out on LinkedIn, because since it's a professional platform. So having a strong LinkedIn also plays a vital role in getting placed into a company. So please make sure you have your email, you have your phone number and you have your LinkedIn details on your resume. Moving forward into your resume, make sure you have your academic details mentioned from your graduation, like your undergrad information to your higher secondary and senior secondary. All the three details should be precise. Have your college institute name, name of the board, and do not forget to add your percentage or CGPA. If in case you have your percentage or CGPA less than 60, so you can write in passed in first division, or if you don't want to show that, so you can write it in passed in first division rather than showing up your percentages. Followed by these, there is a basic structure of resume. So firstly, when you give your professional details, followed by your academic details, then comes the project. Major and minor projects are a part of your academics, college academics, and you should mention them in your resume. Let me tell you one thing, resume is just not a sheet of paper. It is, or it decides the interview's direction. Yeah, you heard me right. Your resume will be deciding the questions of the interview. Most of the people are confused, like how will the technical interview be all about, what will be the questions of the interview. But before moving into this, I would like to tell you that technical interview is only what you write into your resume, like the projects, your skills, the languages which you have, and the technical knowledge. So in my resume, I have mentioned the technical skills of mine, that are Java, C++, and SQL. So I would like to tell you one thing, like most of the students like us or like me mention languages which they don't know but have seen in their friends resume, so they have mentioned it in their own. Resume is not that. You should never lie in your resume. Like if you are making a perfect resume, you should be truthful, you should be honest while making a resume. You need to justify all the things which you have written in your resume, because it is the first impression which you will be giving to the company's HR or the interviewer. Talking about the things, like you need to have all the things in your resume. So moving forward are the certifications and achievements. Talking about the certifications, we have a number of certificates and we have completed many certificates within this year or two. So there is no need to mention all the certificates in the resume. Like if you mention 10, 12 certificates in your resume, it would eat up many lines of your resume. You have to end leaving up some important informations in your resume. Never ever add more than 5 to 6 certifications and achievement in your resume. Since you can see here in my resume, I have mentioned only the major certifications which I have, rather than adding up all the certifications which I did in this pandemic or any other time. So you need to add only the major and prioritize the certifications and achievements. We all had various achievements in our colleges and schools and everywhere, but be precise while writing your achievements, because these achievements are the things which makes you stand apart from the crowd. Make sure you do not add number of achievements in your resume. Like a list of achievements would make your resume look bulky and bad. Instead, prioritize the achievements which you think are like well enough, good enough, and then add them in your resumes. Then again, I would like to tell you some important and underrated thing about the resume: your skills, hobbies. These two things are underrated, like no one talks about it, but let me tell you, these things play a vital role in your resume. Like as I said, skills matter and hobbies play a vital role. So like you'll be wondering how. Let me give you an example. Like when I was giving an interview for an MNC, 60% of my interview went only through my skills and my hobbies and the things which I knew. So these sort of things we never think of, but they also play a major or vital role while giving an interview. So make sure you write up each and every skills, hobbies and interest in your resume. Not more than 2 3, just short, precise, and 2 to 3 hobbies, skills and interest in your resume. Then comes the internship. We all are worried about internships. Like most of the people had their internships and some people do not have internships. So let me tell you, like internships are not that important like to do, but yeah, it's the cherry on the cake. Like if you had your internship, so you'll be having an idea like how things work in a company. So yeah, if you don't have internships, so don't worry about it, but make sure the skills you mention in your resume are up to the mark and you can justify your skills. So let's have a look on the key points which should be there in your resume to make it look good and make it look strong. So firstly, your detail followed by your contact number, email address and your LinkedIn profile. You can also add the link of your GitHub repository if you have one. Personal detail followed by your academics. In your academics, your graduation start and end date, your CGPA, your senior secondary and higher secondary scores, percentages and all. Make sure you make your resume really precise, not a sheet of paper filled with lines and words and sentences. Instead, your resume is your first impression. You should keep in mind, like before you get into the interview room, the resume gets there. So it is your first impression. So make sure it looks good and feels good. After your academic details, make sure you mention your project details, the major and minor project which you had in your college. And if you don't have any project, that's not an issue, but still if you have your project, make sure you add your title followed by a 2 to 3 lines of description of your project. Once you are done with your project, then you come up with your certification and achievements. Please note that you should not add more than 4 or 5 certifications and achievement in your resume, else it would still look bulky and paragraphic. Now talking about the proficiency languages and the technical skills, so make sure you justify what you write in your resume. If you are good at only one programming language, mention that one itself instead of mentioning number of programming languages, because if the interviewer finds you faulty, so then there are the chances of yours getting into the company automatically decreases. So make sure you justify your resume and you stand on what you write into the resume. After your technical skills, you need to write your internships only. Like you need to mention your internships if you have one, and if you don't have, You need to be precise and be proficient in the skills which you have or which you have learned throughout your college. So once you are done with the technical skills and your internships, now it's time for your hobbies, interests, and skills. Make sure you do not add up many things in these columns, but be precise, be accurate, and make sure the things which you love the most you have in your resume. So this is the structure of a basic resume. Make sure you update your resume regularly. I hope now you are much more clear about the resume structure. Although I'm not an expert and this resume structure is not the only one which anyone could have, but yeah, this structure or this resume helped me to get into many MNCs, and I have given almost number of interviews which this resume took me into it. So this is the basic structure of resume which I preferred, and you too can prefer your resume and have a basic template from, you can download a basic template and make your resume according to it. Make sure you add all these details into your resume so as to make your resume stand apart from the crowd. And these are the things which I had personally implemented in my resume, and I have seen a drastic change. This is all from my side, and I hope you love this resume building thing and you would have come to know many things about building a resume. So that's support from my side. Thank you so much.
सबसे पहले तो दोस्तों इस वीडियो पे एक लाइक जरूर कर दीजिएगा, क्योंकि निमिश ने सारी चीजें बहुत ही अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन की है। और आप सभी से मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है, इन सारी चीजों को आप भी अपने रिज्यूमे में भी जरूर इंप्लीमेंट कीजिएगा, क्योंकि इससे यार आपके इंटरव्यू में काफी ज्यादा इंप्रूवमेंट आप सभी को देखने को मिलने वाला है। साथ ही साथ दोस्तों, अगर आपको डिफरेंट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की जर्नी जाननी है, उनके वेंचर्स जानने हैं, तो जाकर दोस्तों निमिश का यूट्यूब चैनल देखिए, क्योंकि इनका अपना एक यूट्यूब चैनल है द जॉलीज स्टूडियो दोस्तों, वो काफी अच्छा है। मैंने भी यार उसको सब्सक्राइब कर लिया है। तो आप सभी से एक रिक्वेस्ट है, उस चैनल का लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, तो जाइए उसको देखिए, लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए। और आप सभी से एक रिक्वेस्ट है, इस वीडियो को भी जितना हो सके दोस्तों अपने फ्रेंड जूनियर भाई बहनों के साथ शेयर जरूर कीजिए। तो दोस्तों आज के लिए इतना ही, मैं जल्दी मिलता हूं अपनी नई वीडियो में अपने नए टेक अपडेट के साथ। जब तक के लिए दोस्तों धन्यवाद।